Hello, hello, Sir David the Bard. Yes, I'm coming to you from the Mormon Church office building, the LDS office building on 50, what is it, 50 East? Yeah, I think it's 50 East of State Street on North Temple Street. It was an interesting situation that happened here. I have been again consulted by the general authorities of the Mormon Church to come and to discuss this serious situation that arose yesterday. I happened to be in Salt Lake City yesterday. Brenda, she got her pilot's license, and she's kind of an ugly kangaroo, but God, she flies good. She flies really good. Landed out there at the Salt Lake International Airport, and anyway, they asked me to come here and consult. Now, yesterday I happened to be in Salt Lake City, and I was driving along North Temple. Now, I was there at around 9:30, 9:40 in the morning, and just drove right down, and it was nothing unusual at all. Well, here, I have a link. You know, the bar don't lie. About 20 minutes later is a hysterical lady. She's on the top of the church office building. I just drove by it. I didn't see her out there, but I missed her by like 10 minutes. Well, she's screaming and yelling, I guess, and threatening to jump off of, I think it's 26 stories, church office building of the Mormon Church. Now, what's funny about that? Well, I've tried to commit suicide 5 times. Jumping has not been one of them, but all the others were there. Anyway, um, I've been inside the church office building in Salt Lake City years ago when I was a Mormon. They had microfiche, which is plastic records. They didn't have computers then, and you could go up and look at your genealogy. Well, that's been taken over by another building. Let me tell you another situation, because I've been in the church office building several times, and the last time I went in, they have this huge desk at the very front of the front doors, and there's some nice, well, they appear to be nice ladies that said, what the hell are you doing here? I said, well, I'd kind of like to visit one of the general authorities. Now, I was there, oh God, I can't remember what years, but Hinckley, the Hinkster, was the prophet, I guess. Maybe he wasn't the prophet. I think he was a counselor. I don't know who the president was with Hinckley. But anyway, they said, well, what do you want to see him on? And I said, well, we left California to get married here in the Salt Lake Temple, and they won't let us in because we're 2 days short of 365 days of punishment waiting to get married in the temple. So she sends me up. She just sends me up. And I just took the elevator, and she says, the second door on the left. I knocked on the door. There's the Hinkster. He's just sitting there, counting your tithing money in big stacks. I'm just teasing about that part. Well, anyway, he said, what the hell's the problem? And I said, well, listen, Hinkster. I said, there's a church rule that when we get married outside of the temple, you punish us for 365 days that we're not allowed to go to the temple. And that we should have done it, quote, right the first time. And that we'll understand after a year of being punished that we did something wrong. So he said, well, what's the problem? I said, well, we have no money. And we rode a motorcycle from California up here, 2 of us. And we didn't have a car and cash that would make the trip, so we borrowed these people's motorcycle to come to Salt Lake City. And we don't have any money for a motel. We have to get married in the temple, turn around, and go home. Well, we're up here 2 days early. And we don't have money for a motel, and they won't let us in the temple. He says, he takes out a piece of paper. He was cool about this, and he just wrote on it, take this over to them and tell them you're getting married. That was the end of it. And we went right over, presented Hinckley's letter, and we were first class. We were ushered right in to get married. Now, what does this all have to do with anything? Well, the church office building used to be a pretty uh, friendly place. It used to be accessibility if you were, especially LDS. But anyway, I went by there yesterday, I told you. And the interesting thing, in my car, I have this radar detector. It really should be a Mormon detector, but you can't detect a Mormon. They're slippery like a pig. The radar just bounces off them. They're kind of like stealth people. But anyway, my radar unit went off like crazy. And it always does when I drive down North Temple Street and go past the Mormon Temple and the church office building. Well, somehow I guess they think they are the national security agency and the people are going to run in and steal the gold plates. I don't know. But the whole place is just radar infected. It's totally radar infected. And all of these retired men from the FBI and the CIA work for the Mormon Church. They've got some of the best trained security people in the world. Well, anytime that an article like this comes up in Utah, they don't report on it very much. There's very little detail. Maybe 2 or 3 days later, the Tribune will give you the real details. The Desert News never will. And I tried to go in the church office building. It's probably been maybe a year, 2 years. And they said to me then, what is your business here? And I said, well, I'd kind of like to ask some questions of one of the authorities. And he said, well, you can't do that. I said, what? I said, I have, I've been a member of the church and I want to ask some questions. And he said, well, you can't. And wait a second. Now, as soon as the bard said, wait a second, she reached under the counter and she hit the button. And before I could get the next sentence out, there were like 2 or 3 Mormon security personnel standing right there. And they came up and tried to take the conversation over. They said, who are you? I said, well, who are you? He says, no, who are you? Who's on first? I said, I don't have to give you my name. He says, well, no, you don't. I said, well, I'm not going to. I came to go up and visit, and I can see you're not a very friendly organization. You send security out here as soon as I say to your people, what's going on? What are the rules? What are the boundaries? And they send you out here, and you're supposed to look important. I don't think you look important, and I'm leaving your building. Goodbye. And I did. So that was my last confrontation, if you want to call it that, with the church office building. So it has evolved into a Nazi Germany type building. So anyway, I can't go in there anymore. Anna, I've been banned from the church office building. So if I become prophet, I'll just have to have a trailer bus parked on North Temple. And there's the prophet, the bard prophet. He's not allowed in the building. So anyway, now to get into the church office building, you have to be an employee, and they have a secret parking lot. See, in the Mormon church, everything is secret. You don't know. They have a secret parking lot where between the church office building and the temple, there's a tunnel, and you can go down in that tunnel, and then you have to show your garments, your temple recommend, your family history, and your tree, and then you're able to park in the church office building parking lot. Another Nazi barricade there, and you get to go into the building, not through the front door, but through the parking terrace. I've never been in there. I was banned from that because I was an employee. So anyway, this, I think it said I don't know, read the article. I think it said 26-year-old lady, which is kind of a young woman. The only way she got into the church office building is that she's an employee. She works for the Mormon church. Now, how you get up to the 26th floor, Only your imaginary Jesus knows that. I don't. I think that there's different elevators for different sections of the building, and you have to have certain clearance to get up to the prophet's bathroom. Anyway, how the hell you get out of the 26th floor, I don't know. The whole building is glassed in. It's a skyscraper. Oh, you guys don't use that word. High rise. High rise. Our buildings used to just scrape. Anyway, the sky. So I don't know how she climbed out of. You can't climb out a window. The windows don't open in that building. You know, they don't want the spirit to escape. So somehow she went up a fire escape or had a key. I don't know, but I guess she got up on the outside of the building where the air conditioning and the drain pipes and everything were, and she's threatening to jump off. Well, first of all, um, the security for I was a security officer. I think I told you that I was a security officer for like 2 years, and so I know a little bit about security. I'm not an expert, and anyway, a security officer is only allowed to report. We're not allowed to do anything. If the building's on fire, we just report it. 911. We're not allowed to go get the fire extinguisher, chase people, arrest people, etc. So the church office, these clowns that are the FBI and CIA church security guys, I guess, found her up there or chased her up there. I don't know what they did. But anyway, she's screaming and yelling. She's trying to jump off the building. Now let me tell you something. A lot of us have had some bad jobs. Believe me, I'm no different than you are. I've had some really shit jobs. And some bosses that I wouldn't commit suicide, but maybe homicide I would do on some of my bosses. Obviously, this lady was not happy working for the Mormon church. The church that gives no notice. I think they give a 2 weeks notice when they fire you. And they're reorganizing, trying to get more money for themselves and put you and your family out on the street. They've done a lot of that in the last 5 years. And you better damn well pay your tithing or you're not going to work for them. So you don't get 100% of your money. You get 90% of your money. And there are, and has been in the past, when you work for the church, like at Desert Industries or somewhere else, you don't get your full pay. 90 or 10% of it goes right to the church, and I think there's been some legal issues over that. And I think now the church generally pays you your full amount, but then you have to have a temple recommend. Only way to get a temple recommend to work for them is you have to pay 10% of your money to the church. So one way or the other, the Mormons are going to get your 10%. So anyway, she didn't go to human services or what do they call HR? You know, the people that you go to for counseling if you're not happy with your job, HR. Well, she didn't go there, or maybe she'd been there and she wasn't satisfied. But to be 26 years old and want to jump off of a world-renowned building, to me says an awful lot. To me, it says an awful lot. When you know, if you've got a pope trying to jump off the Vatican wall and kill himself, that may say a lot about his faithful status at the moment. So anyway, these policemen, which are only security people, I don't know what the hell they were doing with handcuffs. Now, yeah, security people in Utah can carry handcuffs, and if you're licensed, you can carry a gun. But boy, you're on a civil liability, civil liability, if you touch anybody, if you're not a policeman. Because you're not acting under the color of law, you're acting as an individual. Yeah, you can make an arrest, but it's a citizen's arrest, and you don't hold immunity to that. Policemen, judges do. So anyway, they handcuffed her to the 26th floor hand railing. Now they say that so she couldn't jump off. Well, in my mind, being bipolar, I think she could jump off. she'd be hanging, but she could have jumped off. I don't know. See, these are all the secrets of the reporting of the Mormon Church. They don't tell you the truth, and when they do, they only tell a half-truth, and then the other times they're fully lying. So anyway, I don't know if she didn't want to hang by a thread. I don't know. But anyway, take a look at the link down below. I missed her. If I'd gone to down North Temple 10 minutes later, I would have seen her out there. And they shut the streets down. Oh my God! They shut 4 or 5 streets down. So if she splattered, it wouldn't get on anybody. I don't know. But anyway, I wouldn't want to work for the Mormon Church. And it's obvious. This little girl didn't want to work there anymore at all. So, oh God, hear the words of my mouth, a true order of prayer 3 times. You know, I was in McDonald's, and I was in the drive-up, and the guy comes to me and he says, "Hey, how you doing?" You don't know how close. You don't know how close, because Mercy was sitting beside me, and Mercy smacks me. He goes, I was going to say, health in the navel. She goes, God damn you, don't do that shit. Okay, okay. So anyway, I would rather have my throat cut. I'd rather have my heart cut out, and I'd rather have my stomach ripped open rather than be a Mormon. And I do believe when people say to me, gee, how are you doing? I'm going to start saying, health in the navel, marrow on the bones, strength in the loins and the sinews, power and priesthood be upon me and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout all eternity. How are you doing? I gave him a complete report, a physical exam. So anyway, take a look at the link down below, and if you're thinking of working for the Mormon Church, you might want to interview this little gal and find out what her grievances were. Bard gone.